Ever feel like you are missing out on this secret developer toolkit that everyone is using except you? Like there is this group of developers out there that know something that you don't and you're missing out on this huge thing. Trust me, I've been there, juggling code, messing with App Store reviews, get around how to get even more downloads. It can be rough. But there are tools that can help you get the stress out of your plate. Tools that save your time, improve your app's performance, and even help you grow your app audience. I found a few that have completely changed the way I work, and today I'm letting you on all of them. Even if you are just beginning or a skilled iOS developer, this video is for you, and you'll definitely learn something useful, so let's dive in. Hey, I'm Kuba, and if you're new here, I'm a seasoned app developer with over 6 apps live on the App Store. And yes, I've been through all the struggles, debugging at 2 AM, worrying why I can't reproduce a crash, and wondering why my app isn't getting the downloads I think it deserves. But over time, I found a few tools that make all of this so much easier. So, in this video, I'm sharing 5 tools I use every day to save time and actually enjoy the process of developing my apps. Whether you're launching your first app or you've been doing this for the last couple of years, this video is just for you. So let's get started. Picture this. You are piloting an airplane, ready for takeoff. But instead of a clean, organized cockpilot, you are in a cluttered warehouse with switches scattered everywhere. That's what managing App Store Connect feels like. It's messy, outdated, and not exactly intuitive. Helm is like upgrading into a state-of-the-art cockpit where everything you like and expect to be where it should be is. It's an amazing tool. What I love most about Helm is how it cuts down the chaos, whether it's checking the status of a new release, responding to app reviews, or managing metadata. Helm makes the whole process seamless. I'm no longer hopping between tabs or trying to manage weird navigation of App Store Connect or clicking through endless menus. It's all centralized and beautifully designed. And I heard there's even more to come to Helm in next year, so I think I'm gonna stay tuned. But while Helm helps you steer the ship you're on with confidence, there's one obstacle in the clouds, and that is visibility. That's where our next tool comes into place, and trust me, it's a total game changer. And the next one I'm talking about is Astro. Your app is like a shining star in a massive galaxy of competition. Take to-do apps, for example. You open App Store, type to do, and you see just checkmark after checkmark after checkmark after checkmark. At the first glance, it may seem it just doesn't matter what app you're using. They all look very similar to each other, so the only way to compete is App Store optimization. The problem? Well, without the right tools, it's very hard to actually do something in that regard. And it's nearly impossible for your users to find your app in the crowd of, let's say, to-do apps. Astro is like a telescope that zooms in on App Store optimization and helps you select the right keywords every single time across the markets. What makes Astro indispensable is how it reveals the secrets behind the search bar. You can find out what keywords people are actually searching for and how well those keywords perform. Personally, I keep track of many keywords of my many apps across many regions. Can easily spot what keeps traction and what does not, and it's not worth my time. Astro is also really helpful when it comes to keyword research and monitoring your app's performance. Since I got Astro, I can't tell you how many times it actually helped me pivot my strategy for a better strategy that increased my app's visibility on the App Store. It's not just about your app though. Astro also gives you a sneak peek into what your competitors are doing. Imagine being able to analyze their exact keywords and strategies they use, and then over time see you crushing them. It's like having the insider knowledge that levels the playing field. But here's the thing, knowing where you stand in the galaxy isn't enough. You need a way to track your app's performance over time and see if those keyword selection is actually working. Plus, that we already settled that App Store Connect is not that useful when it comes to tracking app analytics. You need a better tool that helps you do exactly those things. Launching your app is just the beginning. Imagine you're an explorer charting new territory, and you need a map that shows not only where you are, but also where you're headed. App Figures is the map, and it tracks all the important metrics in a clean and intuitive interface. For example, downloads, revenue, user retention, you name it. Here's what sets App Figures apart. It doesn't just give you raw numbers, it gives you context. For example, let's say you notice a spark in downloads in 1 week. Well, with App Figures you can dig deeper and find out if it was driven by a promotion, a feature, or even a viral TikTok video someone made about your app. What's more, you can even track new ratings and new reviews. So if you're ever like me, a stats addict, you're gonna love App Figures and the amount of data and charts and insights it provides. it's beautiful. And with premium tiers, it's just mind-boggling for me how deep you can get into this analytics game. One feature I can't live without is the revenue breakdown. It's not just about how much you're earning, it's about understanding where the revenue comes from and in what percentages from each app you own. This insight single-handedly helped me break down my strategies and double down on features I'm building. But even with the best map, navigating the uncharted territory can be dangerous without a special guide. The problem arises even more when you realize you have to think about other things outside of developing your app. Think about marketing or releasing new updates. Being not just a developer, but being like a one-man show of sorts. So if you're like me and you split your time across many different apps, well, you're gonna love the next tool I'm gonna share. If AppFigures is your map, then GitHub Copilot is your guide. As indie developers, it's really important to stay focused on really matters and not get distracted with many tangents and many different things along the way, such as debugging your code until 2 a.m. It just doesn't make sense with the way we think about our time management. Here's a little story. I was working on a small feature to Bluesky, rewriting the discovery backend for a new API. I was stuck, unsure how to proceed. It saved me hours of trial and error debugging my code, and more importantly, it let me focus on things that actually matter when releasing a new app and rewriting the whole backend. For example, creating a new update, promoting it, and marketing in the right places. As we all know, it's really time consuming. And what's the best part about Copilot? Well, it's like having a collaborator who does exactly what you ask him to do. But even with lowest code, there is one thing you can't ever predict, and that is how users actually use your app. And that's actually where our last tool comes in, and it's an absolute must-have. Once your app is live, it's tempting to assume everything's working perfectly, but the truth is you don't even know what's happening unless you can see it, and that's where telemetry deck comes in. It's like having a crystal ball that helps you see exactly how your users use your app without compromising their privacy. Here is an example. I launched an update for one of my apps and noticed that the user engagement dropped significantly. Using telemetry deck, I found out, for example, that a minor UI change was so confusing for new users that they stopped using my app entirely. And within a day I rolled out a fix and saw engagement bounce back. What I love most about telemetry deck is how lightweight and privacy focused it is. Unlike other analytics tools that feel overwhelming or invasive, telemetry deck gives you just the right amount of data to make informed decisions. It's perfect for developers and indie developers who love user experience and just don't want to compromise user privacy. I chatted with telemetry deck team a couple of times actually, and Bluesky, one of my apps, were mentioned in one of their article once, and I'm really grateful for that. I use telemetry deck in all of my apps that help me make smarter decisions and double down on features that I need to do. With these insights, you are not just creating an app, you're creating an experience your users just enjoy using. But here's the kicker. Even with the right tools, success doesn't come naturally and automatically. It's all about how to use them together to create a seamless system that helps you make apps faster and more effectively. So those are my 5 tools I use every day for iOS developer. Helm for fixing App Store Connect, and which makes pushing an update a joy and not a slog. Astro, which helps you take control of your ASO, and AppFigures that helps you take another look for your app analytics and understand your users better. GitHub Copilot for faster development and a more efficient use of your time, and telemetry deck that helps you understand your users better and finally make right and smarter decisions for your app development. Each of them has made a massive difference in how I plan new releases, how I develop new releases, how much time I spend on different parts of the development process, and it just totally changed the game of how I develop new updates and new apps. And I'm just sure that they can do the same for you. But here's the thing. Tools are only as good as you use them. Everyone has their own strategies. For example, I use every single one of those tools differently. So if you are interested in how I set up my workflow, you should definitely check out this video when I walk you through exact setup I use and share even more insider tips that actually maximize your productivity. If you're interested, go watch it and I'll see you in a sec.